Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Neurodimensional Magic. Before we get started today, I wanted to specifically address a question that came up around delusion and the victim program. Somebody in the group was saying that they really felt that they were butting up against the edges of that in their personal experience right now, and what kind of questions to ask when you find yourself. And this can play out in a lot of different ways, which is why it's really important to have a depth of awareness or information to help you move through this that is really simple and solid, because you can go down a rabbit hole with this topic and it's not necessary. When it comes to eradicating that from your reality, what is most important is that you understand how to self provide, and how to learn to communicate with your heart space. The reason why self provision is so important when it comes to the victim program, or that energy in our lives where we're codependent, or we really need other people to give us something in order to feel a certain way, or we need an exchange with somebody else, or we have relationship patterns that are so ingrained with other people that perhaps if they don't treat us a certain way, it feels off. Like, we have these exchanges with people in life in general, and we have them with external reality because that's just the position that everybody sees themselves in. Self provision cures this because you're no longer interacting with any of those roles. In any moment when you feel yourself feeling powerless in relation to another person or in an exchange, or you feel like there's nothing you can do to change the dynamic, there's two things that you can do. These are just really simple, but they're very powerful. One is that you can ask the question of, how can I self provide? What do I need right now from me? And how can I give it to me? And that means in every scenario. So that's with your husband or wife, it's with your kids, it's at your job, it's with anything. Okay. Listen into your heart space, ask yourself, how can I self provide? Let's look at an example of this. These are really good questions. And you can ask these questions to the codes, especially divine intelligence, because that one has really clean and clear answers for you. And it knows how to process the garbage out of your system. Okay. So let me think of an example of when I was so steeped in victimhood. My most recent example was feeling like this in my business because there were certain things that I wanted to figure out or conceptualize. I was really stuck. And I had a habit of, like, internally complaining about it, the way that I talked to my to myself or others about it. So it was like this feeling of having worked so hard for so long, but not really being in the place that I wanted to be. So let me explain to you why that is like a powerless perspective. One, I'm forgetting to remember that that's actually not true. I've had a lot of success and I learned a lot through the process, and everything that I did was an investment in what I know now. It's not actually true that I had been waiting so long, or that I'm in a place where, yes, I had a desire to manifest a certain type of awareness, but it wasn't true that it had been like just a struggle. Okay. So that's the first part. The second part was that I was forgetting in the moments where I was talking about it a certain way that I had the power to shift my awareness and use an intention through self leadership to be in sync with the energy instead of under it. All right. And so, how would I self provide in those moments? What I was feeling was just really hopeless or lost or just frustrated, like really itchy, scratchy. If I asked myself what I would need, it would really be compassion and more of a powerful perspective. Like not groveling, not being like a peasant of my creation, not being a victim of my own creation. This is what I'm creating, this is what I want. So I'm not in a relationship to the things that I'm creating and being a victim of ineptness or me not being able to show up. What I would need to provide for myself is leadership. So how could I help? I could take action. I could do the things that keep circling around. I could choose to work with the codes. I have the what I need. I have the internal communication. I have the ability to access energy. I can choose to cultivate the energy that I want. So it's when you're a victim of your life in any moment, what you are engaged in is an illusionary power struggle. And that's the most pure root truth of that scenario because you're never not in a position to change or make a choice or shift your perspective or discover something or communicate with clarity with your life. You're just viewing your scenario in the wrong way. So, how would I self provide? First thing to ask, what can I do? What do you need? How do I give it to me? And just continue to do that over and over. So that was the one thing that I wanted to start off with. I wanted to give a very simple solution about the right questions to ask yourself. The wrong questions are always like, how do I communicate with other people better to change the way that they interact with me? How do I gain skills in my job to avoid feeling a certain way with my business partner? Or how do I push through this in a way that doesn't suit my inner rhythm? Right? Those are all the wrong questions to ask because when you're asking questions about how you should orient to the external problem, you're still enrolled in the illusionary template that's saying you're part of this web. And your job is to pull the strings with other people in combination with other people to get out. That's a no. It's always the how do I change this in me and what do I need to give me? And then how can I be a leader in my own system?